Good. How are you?
Oh, good.
We're so excited to see you today.
Yeah.
We want to get to know about you. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So welcome to Heaven Gallery. So my background is actually fashion design. So I kind of fell into the art world. I'm really good at picking vintage clothes and jewelry. And so we started the shop about 16 years ago in the gallery, and it was a way for the general public to be engaged in the arts, because a lot of times people feel like galleries are unapproachable or intimidating, and so we really tried to create like a buffer with all this vintage jewelry, all these vintage clothes, and then also creating a revenue stream that sustains the space.
Love. So, what do you hope to accomplish in the next few years with this project and with your gallery and whatnot?
Oh, sure. So we've been working for about 6 years on a project called Equity Arts. It's a project to buy and redevelop the building and turn it into a creative hub for arts leaders and entrepreneurs. So really thinking about this investment into the creative economy as a social good multiplier. So much of my research is about how arts and culture organically creates economic development, public safety, and mental health. So just thinking about once we have this building and that we're able to create this hub for creatives, that has all of these societal impacts on the community and on the city.
I love that. So, how do you decide which artists that you want to work with and who works here
Sure,
with you?
let me just show you the gallery. So all of our exhibitions are juried by our board. We have a board of 7 different members, and so they work at different arts institutions or they're artists. We do an open call for proposals, and so we let anyone submit. We don't charge a fee, and then we jury those proposals and then pick 12 for the next year.
Wow. And then that's how many events you have throughout the years.
We actually have more. So
Love that.
one of the unique things about us is that we are much more than an art gallery and a vintage shop. We also do musical performances, a lot of house music. We do classical, we do acoustic shows. We also do professional development and training for young artists and young people that want to learn more about how to create a nonprofit art gallery using an innovative retail model. And then lastly, we also do meditation sessions here.
Wow, that's beautiful. So clearly, it sounds like you're touching quite a bit of people in your community. What is one way that you see your gallery playing a role in the local art community that you're most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is for Heaven Gallery to be a case study of the transformative power of the arts. Because, like I said, the arts is the least funded, but it's the most impactful. And so really thinking about Heaven Gallery being this example of what's possible when you use the square footage of a gallery for community events, for performances, for stores, like all of these different revenue streams that you can create that then can sustain culture, because it's really hard to make ends meet on art sales.
To touch on something a little bit differently,
Yeah.
what challenges have you faced as a business owner and how have you overcome them?
My whole life is challenges. Especially being a woman. So the biggest challenge was, how do we pay the bills? How do we sustain the space? And we keep answering that by finding another revenue stream. The main one is the vintage shop that pays for about 60% of our annual budget. We also rent to another nonprofit in the gallery. We also rent the space for events. That's another revenue stream. And then we have our gala, which we just had last weekend, and it was amazing. And then since we are a nonprofit, we also get grants from foundations and from city and state.
Since we are on the subject of events and galas and exhibitions, what's been your most memorable event or one that stood out to you this past year?
Yeah, that's a really hard question because we do so many events. I guess my favorite this year would have to be our painter show that our board member, Gwendolyn Zambiki, curated. It was 17 painters from all over the country and all over the world. So we usually just show Chicago artists. We have a deep commitment to Chicago artists, but this was a really great display of like New York, you know, Canada, Japan. We had like artists from all over in that exhibition, and I really loved it because there was something for everyone. We did this series where all these different age groups would come in, and I would ask them what their favorite was, and everybody had a favorite, and it was always different.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really good. Like little girls were like, my favorite is the tiara.
Yeah, puts things into perspective for sure.
Yeah, I think that that brings up another point. So the way that Heaven Gallery is thinking about holistic programming that feeds mind, body, spirit, it's really about creating programming that is intergenerational. How do we create space where young people, older people, you know, my age, seniors can all be in the same room and enjoy themselves and talk to one another, and because there's something from all of us to learn from each other. Like I'm always asking younger people, like, how do you do this on Instagram? I don't know how to do it, you know, like, and then they're learning from me, you know, like, how do you write this grant? So it's about this like skill sharing, you know, that we do within each other, and that happens over all age groups, which I really enjoy.
How do you hope visitors feel when they walk through your gallery or attend one of your events?
That's a great question because I really do pride myself in the gallery on the feeling that people feel. Like this is a very quintessential Chicago experience because you have the house music in the background, you got the Chicago artists on the walls, and so it's really about creating this cultural flagship that when people are visiting from all over the country or outside of the US, they come to Wicker Park and to Heaven Gallery, and they can really get a sense of that culture and like what Chicago is about. You know, when I go to a city, I'm looking for that same experience of like, where can I find the real culture of this city? And I think that Heaven Gallery embodies that.
How can the local community support the gallery and your upcoming events?
So I think that the best way that people can support Heaven Gallery is to come, check it out, and then also, you know, talk to us. We love talking to our customers and love talking to people and collaborating with people for programs. So if somebody has like an idea for a show, we're always asking them, yeah, sure, propose a show to us, or like a musical performance if they want to do something. So Heaven is really deeply about collaboration and really thinking about this synergy that we create through collaboration. And so, you know, we really want to create a safe space where artists feel like they can come to us and be like, oh, we have this great idea for this event, or we have this great idea for this performance. We welcome all of that.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. Well, at the end of this too, we want to give you a big hug. Thank you so much, Alma.